I wanted to introduce a little bit about what she went on to do, right? Worked hard to get on the team. I'm gonna let her tell this a little bit because she's probably gonna back up and let you know, I really think that people have dreams. We have whys, we have reasons, and it's been fun to watch anybody be able to go chase those down, and LifeVantage be able to support that with health and wellness. What do we do with those things? What does our whys become? Well, in our life, it became all the way back, and we picked up pieces, and the things we crossed off our bucket list, or the things we want out of life got crossed off, and a lot of things just came up, and it's fun to watch all of those things get thrown back on the table. And so, thank you, Rael. I'm going to introduce her and let her share a little bit of her thoughts around what it's been like from goals to there to now. So, thank you, Viv.
Generally prefer Blue to do this part, but I blame all the other wives for getting up here because
They did awesome.
so they did do great. So I love stories. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a big story person. I love to learn through stories. One of my favorite books when I was growing up was Chicken Soup for the Soul. I loved reading inspirational stories from other people. So that's kind of the path that I'm going to take you guys on today. It's a little bit of a story. So to understand, Blue and I both grew up in not very wealthy families. Actually, both grew up pretty poor. It didn't really drive either one of us to be like this big money maker, but at the same time, we did want something more out of life. So I graduated high school from a very small high school up in Northern California. I ended up getting a scholarship to play at the University of Arizona. I played volleyball, and it was a full ride scholarship. I'm the sixth kid in my family, and I was the first one to go to a 4-year college after high school. And so that kind of tells you where we were at. And the only reason I did is because it was paid for. When I was in college, I'm going to be realistic with you. I'm not a big school person. I went to college to play volleyball. Bottom line, right? It was great that I got a degree and I got to learn all these other things, but I was there to play. So I think it was right after my junior year, maybe sophomore year, I got the opportunity. Our coach picked a couple of players to go try out for the Olympic team, for the standing Olympic team. And I was one of them that was picked. And I went to the tryout, and there's about 200 to 300 girls trying out they were narrowing it down to 24 people. And I was just like, whatever, I'm just gonna have fun, right? And so I just had a good time. I was excited to be there. I was having a blast, just enjoying playing, because that's what I always did. When I was in high school, just to give you an idea of what I grew up around, I have a brother that's about 15 months older than me. When I was in high school, UCLA called my house at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday morning. And he picked up the phone and he said, "Who is this?" And he goes, "Yeah, right." And he hangs up. Oh. And I was like, "Who was it?" And he was like, "Oh, it was so-and-so from UCLA, whatever. My sister is uncoordinated. There's no way she got an offer to go to UCLA." So fortunately they called back and I was able to talk to them. But just so you understand, I just played volleyball because it was fun. I really didn't. My mom even said, every parent thinks their kid is good. I didn't think my kid was that good, right? So that kind of gives you an idea. So I just played because it was fun. So I went to this.
12 letters from the Pac-10 back then. She had 11 from every single school.
I got recruited by 248 schools. But again, I was just having fun. So anyway, so I ended up going to this tryout and I was doing well and I was having a great time. And I went to hit a ball and I couldn't lift my arm up. And I was like, oh my gosh, what happened? That's weird. I shook it off a little bit, went to lift my arm up, couldn't lift my arm up. So I was like, okay, I want to go to the training room, find out what's going on. On my way to the training room, there's 4 judges that walk around and they rate the people and they put you in groups and they decide who's going to make the Olympic team. Well, 3 of the 4 stopped me on my way to the training room and they were like, "Oh, number 15, we were told to come watch you play. Where are you headed next?" And I was like, "Ooh, the training room." And they were like, "Oh, better luck next year." Right, so I took that as, Heavenly Father had a different path for me, right? My path was to, at this point, I was married. My path was to finish school, start a family, have kids, which I always wanted. I always wanted to be a mom. That's what my main goal was. And I did. I had my beautiful children, as you saw them. Oh my gosh, I miss them so much. You guys are empty nesters now. I miss my children so much. But that's what we did, and we went along that path, and things were good. Like Blue said, we were surviving. He loved being on the fire department. We were making it work. But one thing that I learned is I started to give up dreams. I started to give up things that I thought were out of reach, right? I gave up the fact that I would ever play volleyball at a high level again. It was just rec leagues and fun after that. I gave up the fact that we weren't going to have the money to do big traveling, right? I always wanted to see Australia and Hawaii. That's what I wanted to see. And I just gave up, like, well, it's just not going to happen. And that's okay. That's okay. Like, we have a good family. I love my kids. And the one thing that I learned through all of this is that everybody comes to that point, I feel like, in their life. Whether it's Rob, who's making a ton of money, but doesn't really have the time to go do these things, or whether it's us, who didn't really have the finances to go do it. But everybody hits a point where dreams kind of get forgotten, and you don't think they're realistic anymore. So fast forward a little while, we got introduced to LifeVantage. So just so you guys understand, we still didn't have any money. We sold a car for cheaper than we should have. It was definitely worth more, just to buy our first package to get in, okay? And in our mind, just so you guys understand, we were thinking if we can make a couple thousand a month, we're gonna be sitting really good. Blue can stop doing all his side jobs. He can just go to the firehouse and we can live comfortably.
We got our first check and I tried to go buy the car back. The guy's like, no, man, it's a great car. I'm keeping it.
So that's kind of where we were at. But things are still good, right? We were moving along. We were building the business. Blue was gone a lot, which is what we needed to do to make our dreams come true. And everything was going well. As we started getting checks, I was talking in, and I don't remember who I was talking to, but we were talking about the realistic thought of what we thought this was going to be, right? Because for us, this is way beyond what I ever imagined. And when I say that, I'm really realistic. If you were in our house when we started receiving checks, I remember one of the times we received a check for like $5,000, and I was like, oh, people get a single check for $5,000. This is unreal. I kept saying that, and then it was $10,000, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even know anyone who makes $10,000 in a month. There's no way. And then it was 15, and then it kept going. And I just remember being like, no, some pinch me. Like, there's no way that this is realistic. Like, this is not real. It's really beyond what you can imagine. But at the same time, we were just like all of you, sitting in a chair saying, if I could just make a few thousand more a month, I'm going to be doing great. And I will tell you, one of the biggest things that's a game changer from that is the work. We were also willing to put in the time and the effort. I hear people all weekend, I've heard people saying this, life is lifing on me. Do you all realize that's never going to stop? Yeah. Does everybody know that until the day you die, life is going to life on you? So let's talk about what that looks like. We were living pretty comfortably, pretty normal family, running 1,000,000 miles an hour with a bunch of teenage kids, to this sport, to that sport, to here, to there. And like Blue said, and then we woke up. That was probably one of the hardest times of my life. Because, yes, we were broken. We were broken. We woke up getting rushed to a hospital in pain I had never imagined. Mind you, I had all of my kids naturally. Pain I could never imagine when we woke up from that. Like, I actually screamed out of pain, and I don't do that. I'm not a screamer. So to understand and then to see my girls and the struggles that they went through. So we had that. We got into rehab though. Let me tell you guys how this works. We get into rehab, 2 weeks in the hospital we spent, then they ship us to an inpatient rehab. My girls said, I just want to go home, Mom. I just want to go home. And I said, okay. So we looked at the nurse and I said, give me a list of what they need to do to accomplish for them to go home. And they said, okay, they got to be able to put on their own socks. They got to be able to dress themselves. They got to be able to go to the bathroom by themselves. They got to be able to transfer from a bed to a chair. And they gave me this list of things. And I said, okay, girls, you want to go home? This is what it takes. Mind you, I'm in there too, pretty beat up and broken, right? I still was going through surgery, so they would ship me over to the hospital to have a surgery, ship me back to the rehab, same day, outpatient, because they're gonna take care of me at rehab, so they don't need to keep me in the hospital. And we're going back and forth, right? So our girls got to go home 4 weeks after being in rehab. Now, mind you, on our way out, the doctor who had been in charge was like, where are you guys going? We said, oh, we're going home. They just checked us out. And he said, no. People in your condition are in here for a minimum of 4 months. Minimum. And I was like, oh, not us. Bye. We're going home. Right? And that's all my girls wanted. They wanted to go back to school. They wanted to get back to their friends. They wanted to get back to life. So we came to our first Elite Academy 2 months after our accident. 2 months. Now, don't get me wrong. It was not easy. I could not make it through an entire session. I had to go back and lay down and rest for a little bit. Then we would try to come back and catch the next thing. And we were doing our best to be it as much as we could, but we were there. We were there. And that was important to us. Okay, so let's keep fast forwarding. So lifing on you. So in the last, it's been 9 years since our car accident. So in the last 9 years, we had a car accident, 2 girls paralyzed, got an amputation, ended up having, overall, I've had 14 surgeries. Had a daughter, the second one, who was paralyzed, had brain cancer. Our son, our youngest son, has had open heart surgery. We have dealt with countless numbers of surgeries for our girls who are paraplegics due to pressure sores and other issues that come from being a paraplegic. And we're still here. And we still show up at every event. And we still do this. And then on top of that, the insanity inside of me said, I had a friend tell me about a Paralympic team. I'm gonna go play volleyball. So mind you, I had basically just spent 2.5 to 3 years in a wheelchair trying to get to the point of an amputation. And I was like, I'm in great shape. I'm gonna do this, right? So I call up the head coach and I was like, hey, somebody give me your number. I wanna come play. He said, well, let me get you with our coordinator for our development team. I said, okay, great. So he transfers me over to the coordinator, and the coordinator's talking to me, and he was like, how old are you? And I said, I'm 42. And he was like, well, we don't typically have people your age trying this for the first time. And my response, when I look back on it, it was a little big-headed at the time, but my response was, well, put me up against any 20-year-old and I'll beat him out. Okay, mind you, I also have to say, I went to my first training. I just about died. It was just after COVID, so we had to wear masks while practicing. Okay, I was out of shape to practice without a mask. I was not in shape to practice with a mask. So I had a mask on, and every 2 minutes, I would go over to the side and go, right? But these are, you guys, these are the obstacles. These are the things that we go through. It's not easy. This was something I decided I really wanted to do. It's not easy. And at that point, literally something in my mind went, why are you doing this? Like, you don't have to do this. You could go home, sit on a couch, watch TV the rest of your life, and nobody is going to blame you.
Yeah.
No one's going to blame you. Nobody's going to say anything. I'm going to be like, I'm missing a leg. Right? But the bottom line is, my mind said, heck no, I will never look like that again. I went home, I hired a strength trainer. I Blue and the kids in one day put together a volleyball court for me. And I went to work. I work out with my trainer still to this day. It's been 5 years. I work out with her Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I've had friends come and work out with us. She kicks my butt. It's a big transformation from where I started with her to where I am now. In the beginning, it was a lot more breaks and smaller amounts of exercise time. Whereas now she's like, your 20 seconds is up, let's go. And so it's work, right? And still to this day, I will tell you guys, there's moments where I'm like, why am I doing this? What was I thinking? It's hard. It's hard. All I did was age 5 more years. So my body did too. And I sit on a floor. I wish I could explain sitting volleyball to you guys. I sit on a floor and I use my arms and my one leg and I push myself around. And like I explained it to the group last night, the volleyball court is about the size of a pickleball court. The height of the net is about 4 inches higher than a pickleball height, right? So it's not super big. So now I play against people and I have twice or half the distance of court to hit it in or to dig it in. I have half the height of the net, which means I have to be twice as fast on my reaction time. And I still have to move. I still have to move. Nobody's gonna hit it right to me. Right? And how you see it sometimes on YouTube where people think it's funny that they're playing, oh, this is sitting volleyball, and they sit there and then they just fall over and dig a ball. That's not how it works. Okay, my team has taken 3 gold medals.
Wow.
Our coach does not let us just sit there and reach. He would be like, move your butt, right? Move your butt, right? I'm serious. Like, it is intense. When I go to training in a 3-day weekend, and a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we do 5 practices, 2 to 2.5 hours long each practice, with about a 2.5 hour break in the middle. So we practice, little break, practice, dinner, do it again the next day. So it takes a lot. It's kind of like you guys coming to building depth. It's kind of like you guys doing the Super Saturdays and the LVAs. You go and it seems like a lot all at once. But to top it off, when I get home, it's not over. I don't go, good, done till next month. I actually have to turn in videos. Do you guys know that? So every week I have to turn in 2 videos of me lifting weights and 2 videos of me practicing. My practices are 1.5 to 2 hours by myself. That's me just doing 1.5 to 2 hours of drills by myself at home. Okay, so again, it's like you guys doing your weekly meetings, doing your daily phone calls, keeping the accountability chart as you're doing the VIP chart, doing the things that are going to help you be successful so you have an opportunity at the gold medal, right? So right now, my goal is to, I go to China next month. I go from July 5th to July 18th, hopefully as a starter. That's my goal. And then in 2 years, what we're working toward is in 2 years, we get to play in LA. We get to play in Long Beach. So always have that end focus too, you guys. Have that next destination of what you're reaching for. So for me, every tournament is my next destination, right? I'm working toward China. Then I'm going to be working toward the next tournament, but my final destination, my end goal for this round, if I don't go again, is LA, right? And I still have to make roster. Just because I'm on the team, I don't get to just automatically go. There's over 20 people on my team, and they take 14 to a normal tournament, and they take 12 to the games. So I still have to be in the top 12. And like I said, my team has taken gold 3 times. They're good. Really, really good. So I have to be on it, and I have to work. So through my story, what I'm hoping to inspire you guys to do is to understand, don't give up on dreams. Push. Be willing to fight for what you want, no matter how hard it is. Because I can tell you, from where we were 17 years ago to today, game changer. Like, completely unexpected. Not at all what I expected. So like I said, I wanted to go to Australia and Hawaii. I've been to Australia. I don't know if I want to do the 16-hour flight again. I've been to Hawaii a countless number of times. I can't even say how many times I've been to Hawaii. It's one of my favorite places. So just know, you gotta fight for what you want. Push. Do the work, you guys. Do the work. Put in the time. If you want the success, you have to put in the time. Thanks.